Welcome to episode 129 of Wines to Find. Our wines today are a Pazo de Lusco Albariño and a Fontana a Vecchia Taberna Falanghina del Sannio. I said it slow to get it all in.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. And again, we are here today from our studio, which has a brand new look.
It does. So you will be able to actually see us, not only hear us.
Mm-hmm. So you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram to see the video that goes along with this audio podcast broadcast, or you could just listen as you always do through all your regular podcast platforms. But
exactly. And we hope that we did this so that you could be able to actually see the colors of these wines that we're doing, and so you can see the labels and the bottles. So we hope this experience adds a little more viewing pleasure.
Enhances your wines to find experience. All right. So
let's go ahead and look at wine number one.
Okay. And so if you do hop on over to that video, what you'll see is that there's some color in our background. So what we have done is we've added a white piece of paper that will help us kind of hone in on the colors of the wines. What are we seeing, Sandy? It's pretty pale.
Pale yellow. I think an Albariño generally is also pale yellow. So that's typically what you have. And I think this one is pretty typical.
Pretty typical. And what do we smell?
I definitely smell citrus and some floral notes, maybe a little salinity. Definitely.
Bright, very bright.
Yeah, very bright,
very
acidic.
light.
Yep. All right, you ready to taste? Oh, we should cheers to our new studio.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
And then I get to taste. It's very bright, very fruity, very light.
And apple and lime. It's all those light, bright colors, but still it has some botanical flavors. I smell, how it feels like you have those white flowers and all, so you can smell them. And then, I don't know how you taste a white flower, but you do.
Well, yeah, I don't know how you describe how you taste it, but I do. I know what it tastes like from having tasted wine. So
I do even have, and it does feel like it has some salinity in it. It is light in body. So it's going to need something light and refreshing to eat with, like a salad, an aperitif. But Michelle, you were able to do some research on this location, which is in Spain. Would you like to share what you found?
Yes. So one thing that I have learned is I should never research a wine region, because then it has to be added to the bucket list. And this one, it really got added up there kind of high. It's the Rias Biaxis area or the DO in Spain. And it is located in the northwest part of Spain on the Atlantic coast. It's actually on the border of northern Portugal. So, and then there's a river that floats, the Minho River floats kind of in this area in between, that is the border between Spain and Portugal right here. So, and another wine, the Portuguese wine that we enjoy, is the Vinho Verde. And so some of the grapes, the Albariño grape is actually blended in with Vinho Verde sometimes, and so that makes good sense.
It does. And I've heard that region is called, and some of you may have heard this before, Green Spain.
Green Spain, it is. And so, and then one thing that I learned in the research is that it was actually settled by Irish. Way back. So they actually like bagpipes, and they still have that Irish culture. So you kind of go, and it's the nexus of Spain, Ireland, and Portugal.
Oh, wow. Just a
landscape.
hodgepodge.
Yes. So then I was like, well, now I have to go there. But anyway, so the Rias Biaxis area, there are 5 districts, 5 subregions in Rias Biaxis that you might get Albariño from. And Albariño makes up 90% of the grapes and wines produced there. So it's their bread and butter in this area. But there's the Val de Sannio area, the O Rosal, the Condada de Teo, and again, I'm butchering it, Sotomayor.
You took French, not Spanish.
I did not take Spanish. And the Ribeiro de Ula. regions. So there's 5 sub-regions within the Rio Biaxis area. And some of the grapes that you might find in there are not only Albariño. The Albariño is going to be light, fresh, citrusy, lively. There's a Godello that's going to be a little bit heavier, more medium-bodied, a little bit more dynamic. And then there's the Triexdura, which is grown in that Ribeiro area, and it's also in Portugal. And that's going to be heavier, a little bit more viscous, and it's going to be tart. And so, but if you go back to the Albariño, which is the one that we wanted to feature here, it is comparable to a Viognier, they say. So, and I like a Viognier, so in flavor profile. So that makes sense why I enjoy the Albariño. And this is kind of a bridge grape for us because I'm not a big, huge Sauvignon Blanc fan.
Well, I don't think they know what Sauvignon Blanc has to do with this episode yet.
Oh, well, we can tell them why we landed on this.
And what I am kind of glad to hear is that the Rias Pazo area is just a menagerie of different cultures. They did not allow themselves to get labeled.
No. They just love everything.
They went and loved everything, which is kind of what brought us to think about why we wanted to bring you alternatives to Sauvignon Blanc. One of my favorite grapes is Sauvignon Blanc, and I do like it. I like it from all different regions of the world that you're able to grow it, even though they're a little bit different styles. I do like it. Michelle has not always been a big fan of it, so we thought, okay, what is similar to it, but that could be a bridge? And this Albariño was one of the first varietals that we thought of that could bridge. If you like Sauvignon Blanc, you'll like this too. But if you may think Sauvignon Blanc may be too grapefruity or too acidic, then this may be a good wine for you to try.
A good alternative to Sauvignon Blanc. All right, well, and it was Gruner Veltliner. So Albariño tends to be like Viognier or Gruner Veltliner, and those are a little bit heavier in body for me, which is why I enjoy those. I don't like those thin white wines. So that's where. So anyway, so our next wine, number 2, the Taberna Falanghina del Sannio. Try saying that.
The grape is the Falanghina.
Okay.
And that is located in Campania, which is in Italy, and that is in the southwest of Italy. So you have your little boot here. So it's in the southwest Italy, right above Naples. You can't see. We need to get our maps out.
We're going to get right here. I was going to say right here.
We're going to get our maps out so that we can show you guys exactly where it is. So it is in the southwest Italy, and it's in that Campania region, and this is the Falanghina grape. So let's go ahead and look at it and see what we can find. It is a little bit deeper yellow with a little bit more green hue to it, I think, from what I can see right now.
It's definitely straw in color.
Yeah, it is pale.
And it's heavier. It seems to
got a little more viscosity on the glass. The nose,
it's very aromatic.
I think it's a little more fruit intense than the Albariño. The Albariño is also going to be a little bit northern than this Falanghina, just because of the geography of it.
Can we taste?
Sure. Oh, I get peaches right away. Peaches and stone.
It's oaked. Is it oaked?
I don't know if this particular one is oaked. Are you getting
like
vanilla in?
Yeah.
Well, this is Falanghina. One of the cool things about this grape is that it is a hillside grape. The DOC says that it must be cultivated on the hillside because the reason for that is if it's cultivated in the valley, it's more susceptible to mildew.
Which is an interesting thing in the Albariño grape. That area is very wet and rainy, especially in the winter. And so a lot of those they're all terraced. So both of these are off the ground.
Trellised.
Trellised, yes.
It's the trellis system, yes, not terraced.
I meant trellised. Yeah. I used the wrong word. Sorry. So anyway, so you've got these on a hillside in Italy and these in Spain lifted off the ground via trellis in order for the same purpose, to keep mildew and rot off the vine.
Exactly. The other great thing about this is that we think that there are other varietals that would go well if you want to try this. Falanghina, another grape that you could try would be a Pinot Blanc, or a Chablis would be something that you could also try, which is a non-oaked Chardonnay from France. You could also try a Verdicchio, which is another grape from Italy, and that Gruner Veltliner that you were talking about that you favor. That's also another great option for you if you want to try something other than Sauvignon Blanc, but in that same family.
Which was the purpose, our attempt to kind of branch out from that. And we're all about tasting and trying new wines. So if you like Sauvignon Blanc, you would want to try those varietals. And if you don't like Sauvignon Blanc, you would want to try them and see if maybe you like those instead. So it's a dual-purposed episode, right? All right, so do we want to go right into rating these?
Sure, let's go ahead and do that. What do you think about wine number 1, which was the Albariño?
Needed a minute.
You need a minute?
Yeah.
You need to go back and revisit?
That one is very light, very fun. It's perfect for a warm day, and it's been very hot. I don't know if it got to 100 today. It was supposed to, but this is one that it doesn't impact your flavors. A lot of times on a hot day, I just don't even want to think about eating or drinking anything. So this is nice, light, refreshing, fruity, and I enjoy that. So given that it's a nice hot day, I think it's just hitting right. I'm going to give it like a 4. I think it's a good one to revisit.
Well, Albariño is definitely one of my favorite. We've had a couple that are just like really high on my list, and I think this price point is under $20. I think it's great for the quality of it. I would definitely revisit this. I also would give it a 4. And for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, our rating system is really very simple. We don't base it on quality. We base it on whether or not you personally would enjoy it. A 1 is that you want to find one cork is you want to find the kitchen sink because you didn't like it at all. A 2 is where you would go ahead and finish the glass to be polite. 3, you'll have another glass. You found it interesting enough to revisit. 4 is, oh, wow, that was pretty good. I think I'll go find a bottle so that I can try it again. A 5 is 5 corks is where you will go and buy a case because you enjoyed it so much.
Right. Right. And so we both gave that one a 4. And another thing about Albariños that's nice to note is that, and it's Spanish in general, wines tend to be great values. Albariño tend to fall in the $10 to $20. You're not going to find many above $20. So that's always a nice.
You can still find good quality Albariño at that price.
Right. So that kind of gives a good help.
Now, same thing with the Falanghina. This is the Italian. It was $14.99. And I think it was a little bit heavier, and I think it was a little heavier in body and a little bit fruitier.
This one is interesting. I can see using it to cook with as well. A lot of times an Italian recipe will call for a splash of white wine, and I can see this being a good one to splash in there. But I don't know that I like it as much as I did that, enough to go and revisit the bottle. So I'm going to go 3 and
I liked it. I'm going to give it a 4. I can see myself revisiting this, particularly with shellfish or a ceviche bowl. I think it would be really nice with. So I would like to revisit this one. But I'm also I like Italian whites.
Yeah. Okay, so I also wanted to mention we have had Spanish wines on several times on Wines to Find. It's a great, like I said, value region. And I did note episodes 11, 36, 41, and 48. Those 36, 41, and 48 were all with the Spanish palate. Okay. That's Nicola. She's a lady that we met she represents growers in the Spanish region or in Spain and helps get their products to market and helps represent them in the marketplace to make sure they get good value or they get their representation in the marketplace. And episode 11 was a fun one that we did where we tried 3 different Spanish wines and gave a little bit more history and regional information. So those are all episodes you could check out as well.
Okay. Did you research our Italian wine episodes?
Did not.
Okay, we have one that we did with Friuli, which is in northeast eastern. That Friuli region is in the northeastern part of Italy. And definitely, if you have had a Pinot Grigio and you don't like Pinot Grigio, you need to go try this one, because that really made me say, ooh, I need to go try those more, because
Opened
I
your eyes
typically
about-
was not a Pinot Grigio fan. So that was a great one. We also have one on the hill that let us try a couple of theirs, and they were absolutely delicious. Then we had a couple others. So we might put
The
those
Italian
in the show,
wine
in the show
writer
notes.
joined us. That was a great. We've actually done a lot more in Italy than we have Spain, which is why I wanted to feature the Spain ones, because Italy's kind of, we've revisited several times, and Spain I feel like we haven't visited as much.
Oh, okay.
It needs
Shouting
a little
out
more
Spain.
love. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. We hope that if you do enjoy it, you would share it with that wine-loving friend or family member, and we hope you'll join us next time on
Wines to Find.